Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time differences, and welcome to episode 5 of Silencing the Voice. I'm your humble host, Christiana Telena Jubisa. It's a pleasure to be here again once more, and thank you for spending this time with us again. With me, I have my very able co host, Coach Monica. How are you doing, Coach Monica, and how is Belgium faring at the moment?
Hello, Coach Christy. Hello, everyone. I'm doing well. I'm doing great. Belgium. It's a sunny weather. It's been a lovely weather. Last week was very not that cold, but raining and kind of. But this weekend is a warm weekend, and we're enjoying it. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And with us, we have our third guest, the platform. We really appreciate you, Mrs. Gladys Anyone, for accepting this invitation to be with us. Please introduce yourself to us and to our audience as well.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Gladys Yobosa Ayubon. So I'm really delighted to be here today. So seeing these powerful women in front of me and for me being part of this show today, I'm really, really happy to be here. So I'm from Belgium and as Sister Monica said, it's very nice weather today. So we are enjoying it. So that's it.
Thank you so much again for
Yeah.
accepting, this invitation. So we are on episode 5 of Silencing the Voice, and particularly we're talking about surviving in a new environment. When
Mhm.
we all make those decisions to transit ourselves from one country or place to another, there are usually some challenges that we can face. But how do we ensure that we stay focused throughout the whole time to ensure that our plans are being fulfilled or achieved? So, Madam Gladys, I will really begin with this very first question. But before I go there, I really want to appreciate our guest, our viewers, please. As we move along, do well to put out your comments, opinions, or any words that come in mind as we go along. We are here because you are there and we are here to grow together. When we share the strategies, they could be something that you haven't tried before, but by talking and maybe paying a listening ear, it can give you one or two ways on how you can modify the activities that you go through daily. So, Madam Gladys, the very first question I wish to ask you, what were your feelings, the moment that you were leaving your home country for Belgium?
Oh, my first feeling was like, oh, I was really, really excited when I left Nigeria, my home country, to come to Europe. I have this idea like coming to Europe is just, it's going to be like a magic. What I mean by magic is it's going to be a transformation, like no stress free, everything is easy. It's like you just snap your hands and you get everything you wanted. So that was my first my first belief. And it's not like now. Those days it's like you heard stories. It's just about stories. But yeah, so that was actually my instant, like my belief, like I'm going to a country, it's Europe, they are white, they speak English. I'm going to be speaking like an England English, so that was my focus. So, but yeah, that was it. But when I get here, things was actually different. So that was my first impression. Anyway, that
I
was it.
really agree with you. I think I could feel the same, the same. What you were saying was like, because if I also think of when I first left Cameroon to travel abroad, it's just similar. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, you're going to the world out there. Now there's going to be so much difference in your life. Life is going to
Yeah.
be much more fun and interesting and big. But at the same time, you don't even know what awaits you. You cannot really envisage the package that is in front of you. Is it going to be that easy like you think or not? So, Coach Monica, I know you want to add something to this. You're very much welcome.
Just as both of you have rightly said, it's the same experience for most of us. Because as for me, I thought I was coming to the land of milk and honey, bed of roses. I don't need to stress. I'm going to start making huge money, and but yeah, the reverse was the case. But I think that's the experience each and every one of us do have with the intention. Oh, it's just going to be stress free. and we're just going to get everything in the platform of gold, but end up not being so. There's few works to be done.
That's very true. That's very true. So if we move to our next question, Madam Gladys, so when you arrived in Belgium, did you face some challenges or difficulties or distractions? And can you please share some of them with us?
Yeah. When I came to Belgium, but I would like to say this. Before I came to Belgium, my first entrance actually was in Italy. So I remembered when I arrived in Italy, I spent like a month there or something like that. So I know I got this feeling like, oh, I don't have to be in this country. I don't have to be here. So I remember I got this feeling. I called my dad. I'm like, oh, you know what? If I stay in this country, I will not be able to study. So I got that feeling, that moment. But then I got in contact with my girlfriend and we were talking. Then she's like, okay, why don't you come to Belgium? Maybe it's going to be better, you know? So we discussed about it. Then I arrived in Belgium a few months later. So I remember the day I came to Belgium. It was rainy, it was dirty. It was in Antwerp when I left the train. I was like, that moment, I just got this feeling like it's like gooms, like, oh, this is the country I have to be. I remember I was talking to my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is the country I have to be. I feel it, and that kind of feeling you got, like, okay, this is going to be good for me. So that was actually the first feeling when I came to Belgium. And there are the challenges I really faced are this. Like, first, it was not an English speaking country. I was disappointed. Uh, I was disappointed, and it was very difficult to communicate. So I feel like I was isolated. What I mean by isolated is this: I was in just my Nigeria community.
Mm.
So you are in Europe, you are in Europe, but you are in the same community, which is like my Nigerian community. So at that moment, I was not feeling life. It's like you are just in the community. You don't know what is going on outside of that community. So that was one of the first challenges. So I was like, okay, how should I break these challenges? That was the first question I have in my mind. I'm like, okay, how will I move up from this A to the next Joshua? I'm like, okay, that's fine. And secondly, was friends. The kind of friends I met when I arrived was like, hmm, this going to work for me? And the kind of job that I really have to do, I was like, I can't do this. I cannot even clean my own apartment, so I don't know how I can cope doing a job like this. And yeah, so those were my challenges. Were number one, the language. That was a big challenge. And secondly was the people around me, my environment, my friends around me. That was number two. And number three was the most challenging thing is when you have a dream and the people around you, people you met in a country, have different kind of mindset, you could not really communicate. And when you try to express yourself like this is what I want to do, people talk down on you like, I've been here for 5 years, this one has been here for 10 years, they have not done it. What makes you think you just came yesterday? What makes you think you can do it? So that was the three things that were, yeah, those were my challenges, my biggest challenges actually.
This is really, really, I mean, it's just so similar to what I went through when I arrived Finland as well, because English is not a universal language being used here as well. We have
Yeah.
Finnish language, so that was just a very fresh welcome for me as well. And then you start to think, how should you even start? It's like starting life all over again, and sometimes it can be really difficult. To accept that, because that you're going to waste some, or should I use the word waste, if it's maybe it's not a good word, but you're going to spend more time trying to get to the language. Of course, the language is going to get you easily integrated into the community. But maybe before you
Yeah.
left your home country, you didn't think of that there must be a sacrifice you have to pay, such as learning the language. And talking about the kind of friends and the environment, that is really true. That is really true. The more reason why we brought this whole topic is silencing the voice, because when we move or wherever we find ourselves in, we interact with people, our associates, close contacts, and they can actually, affect us in one way or another, especially the decisions that we feel or we want to decide to take or to make, the steps we want to make in life. It can be influenced by anyone that we are close with. So how do we make sure that we actually, stay in our path or stay in our own focus goals that we have already set up? That is the tricky side, but we are getting to that. And talking about job availability, of course, it can be a first time shock for you to come and, what what are you going to do? Maybe if I stayed in my home country, I'd have been in a better place. You start asking yourself all of those things, and maybe your friends back home, you will hear that, okay, now they are now doing this, they are now doing that. So it can really be challenging, but we've come to understand that things happen for different reasons. And if God Himself permitted us, to be where we are today, there's a
Yeah.
reason for that. So, Coach Monica, I know, I know there's a lot from this end.
I'm going to do my best to make it short, but 3 points I picked from what she said. She first talked about being disappointed when she arrived Belgium. I had the same feeling when I mine was in Holland when I arrived Holland. I had that I was disappointed because that was not what I expected. And that disappointment has to also do with people, just like Coach Chrissy said, friends back home, they're already advancing, they're already moving a step or two step ahead of you. Because we here in this country, well, in the language speaking country, I arrived, I had to first learn the language. I'm like, what? My friends just gained admission and this is already year one. And you start feeling all sort of disappointment. And this is it's fine. It's okay to feel disappointed. But how
Yeah.
do we manage that disappointment? It's another role, it's another ball game, because some people feel disappointed and they allow that disappointment, you feel so discouraged and they lose the energy and to pursue to follow their vision. But and you said you feel isolated. It's also what I felt. You feel you alone. Or then in my own case, I was just in my family with my sister and the children. I'm like, I need youth. I need people of my age. I need to be able to move. But yeah, you feel isolated. You feel alone. You feel a little bit depressed. I was depressed. I was sad. I was always in the mood. But we get out of that phase. Is a phase that doesn't last for a long time. We just need to manage it, find out to manage it and move forward. And there's one very strong point she made. She said people have different mindset. People have different mindset. Just all we all come here with the mindset to have a green path, to have a good living and all that. But those good living doesn't come easily. It can come easy depending on the route you choose to follow. But there's a saying that says the people you move with, or what people you move with around you says, really it matters a lot. They can either make or make you, depending on your own mindset and your strong will. But as Mrs. Gladys said, she had that strong will. She was able to stick to her vision because she knows her purpose. She was able to go the way, or let me just say, she was able to follow her dream. And I'm so glad she didn't really she was able to see the difference in the mindset in her own thinking and what others are thinking, and was able to follow her dream. Thank you.
Yes, that's that's just what I was expecting Coach Monica to say, because you've taught me a lot about that as well. And when you mentioned about the mind setting as well, um, from my own little experience, we meet a range of people who look at life differently. Some are really goal oriented, some want to achieve more, but some can be contented and might not see the need, the need to add. So this is the more reason why we talk a lot about self-discovery. If you are agile and you want to add more to your life, you have to be able to know what to take and what not to take, and be that goal driven. Nothing to stop you or discourage you from taking that one step ahead, no matter what comes your way. So we also want to appreciate those who are watching with us, those spending time with us. um Mr. Julius Kimbe, thank you so much for being part of the show of today. And please, if you have any comments or questions or opinions, please let them come in and we will share our ideas together. Madam Gladys, I want to ask this question again. During the process of achieving or working towards the goals that you had set for yourself, were there times you felt like giving up?
Yes, there were actually times that I felt like giving up, but I think it was later on because I have this fire. So I was a very sick child when I was like 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So I could remember my dad always take me to the hospital to take, yeah, I have to get injections before I would get okay. So I was kind of a daddy's girl. So. So my dad was asking me one day, he said, because my dad was very intellectual. So he told me, was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, oh, I want to be a nurse so that I can give people injection. That was actually like, so I think so excited about it. And my dad is like, okay. So when I arrived, even when I was still in Nigeria, that was actually my dream to become a nurse. I could remember when I went to an hospital, I'm like, I would be sitting down, in Africa, in my country, you'll be hearing, not like here that our shoes are so sporty, but in my country, all you hear is co,
Okay.
co, co, co.
Good.
You will hear the nurses. You could hear the sounds of their shoe. That sounds of their shoe does something to me. I don't know about somebody else who really want to be a nurse then. So that was like, to me, I just look at them like, wow, the inspiration, just hearing the sound of the shoe. So that has already been my aspiration to be like, I have to achieve this goal. This is what I want, and I have to achieve it. So I remember one day, this is one aspect, like I was in the train station. Every time I pass through the train station, I take their newspaper. So it's free, you don't have to pay for it. So I always go to the news sessions, and I could understand some things without even learning the language. I'm like, oh, if I could understand some things without going to school to learn the language, it means I can do this. So I was talking to a friend, and I'm like, oh, I would like to learn this language, and master it and go back to school. She was like, oh, so this did it, she could not do it. That one tried, she could not do it. I'm like, okay, they are not me. I will do it. Don't worry. I will let you know when I achieve whatever I want to achieve. And she was like, okay, let's see. So it was just like a normal talk, but she thought I was not serious, but deep inside me, I was really serious. I really wanted it. Then after a while, time passed by. I was looking at, oh, if I do stay in the city, in Antwerp, what will I be able to achieve what I want? Then I thought, it's not going to work. Then I moved to a smaller village. But at this moment, I was living in Antwerp, paying double rent, living in Antwerp, living with a friend in a small village. Through when I was in that small village, I have the opportunity to go to a language school. So that was when I know my dreams could actually come true, because the teacher was telling me, like, Gladys, you have more potential. You are intelligent. You have to put more effort. I know you can do much more better than this. So why are you not putting much effort? I was like, okay, thank you. I was playing with it. Then along the way, I was like, okay, she's serious. Then I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I was putting more effort. Then 1 year passed by. Then the second year, so I was on a bicycle. So so I learned bicycling because I really want to have a BMW. But at that moment, what I could achieve was a bicycle. So for me, my bicycle was my
With your
BMW.
BMW.
So I remember I was bicycling. So there was an old lady. She came out of the house. She said, stop, young girl. Please, can you help me? I put something on my gas. Can you help me bring it inside? So thank God I went to the language school. I would have not been able to even understand or comprehend what she was talking about. So I'm like, okay, don't worry. So I packed my BMW, my bicycle. So I went inside. I helped her. So we talked, and then we drank coffee together. She said, what do you do? I said, yeah, I'm going to the language school for now. She said, what do you really want to do? I said, I want to be a nurse. She said, that was my dream when I was a young girl, but I was not able to realize that dream due to financial situation then, so she was explaining things to me. Then she told me, she said, you know what? Next week, it was around August. She said, next week, when we go together to the nursing school, then I'm going to write you in. Then I said, my language is not good enough. She said, it does not matter. It's your money. So I'm writing you in. So if it's not good, if you pay, it's not their money. So you just have to try it. Then she did it. So I came to her house. I think 2 weeks later, then she called the taxi. We went together. So they were like, yeah, your language is not good enough. She said, no, she will never learn anything in that language. So if she stick there, so even if she fail, let's start try again. I'm like, okay, this match is very boxy. Oh, this good. So actually, I did. So I wrote. So they write me in. They were like, okay, we will let her try. So I was lucky at as then my documents were not okay yet. But then in Europe, you can still go to school without you don't have documents at as then. So they wrote me, then they asked me my certificate from Africa, from secondary school. So I had that, so they have to send that to me. So I sent it to Ministry of Education here. So they went through it, they sent a letter to the school, yeah, okay, she can start. She has a background in science and her mathematics is okay, then she can start. So that was how I started going to school. It was like a joke, but the thing is this, if you have a dream and you keep working towards it, I believe that indirectly, without you unknowingly, the right people always come to your path because you're already working towards it. So I think that was just how this happened for me. So I was like, okay, it's okay. That was how I started going to nursing school, and everything changed. So I could see my dream coming true. So all I have to do is like I have to put more effort. I have to translate in English from
Yeah.
Dutch to English, from English to Dutch, just to be able to understand everything. But it was fun. I was enjoying it. I was like, this is really what I wanted. So that was how my journey becoming a nurse started. So,
Wow.
but along the way, in 2009, I failed. Yeah, I didn't fail. I have 50% theory. Then I have practical 80%. So they told me, like, in this school, if you have 50% in theory, it means you failed. Even if your practical is like 100%, you failed. It means you are not able, to deliver what you studied theoretically because how will you write Dutch when you don't really know the language very good. So yeah, I was like, okay, no problem. And a friend of mine said, don't worry, you try again, you do it again. You have the books already. You just have to pay some fees. You don't have to pay much anymore. So I did it. So the second time I did it, then I passed like I think 75% this time, which was encouraging. So I did that. It was successful. Then I was like, okay, let me go for 6 months more to just become a carer. So after 1 year, you have a certificate to become a carer. So I did that. When I did it, I went for successful. Then a teacher called me. She said, Gladys, your language is still very bad. I think now you have the certificate, you have to go and start working. After you work for like 2 or 3 years, then you have to come back to school. Then you are strong in the language, then this will be more easier for you, like that. Then she told me, I was like, okay, thank you very much. Then I went home, I think about it. I talked to my friend, then he said, huh, do you know it's not our money? Is it our money? I said, no. He said, okay, why do you want to stop now? I was like, I don't know. I think he's right. She has a point and this, that. Then the next day I came to school. Then I talked to one of my teachers and she looked at me. She said, Gladys, listen and listen very good. There is no advice in stopping school. Nobody will ever advise you like that to stop. The thing is this, if you don't try it, you will never know. So why don't you try it if you will go through? Try it. If you try it, if you don't make the second year, then at least you tried. But if you do not try it, you will always regret. Maybe you will never come back to school. She just said you will regret not trying. Then I was like, okay. So that gave me encouragement to actually go back to my second year. So I did the first semester, I passed. I did the second semester. That was the most difficult This difficult semester in nursing school actually. So I failed again. So this time I'm like, nobody is going to tell me to give it up. Nobody. So I know what it is. I will do it again and I'm going to get it right this time. So I was actually, why I failed, I was going through some stress then, and so then I did it again. Then it was okay. So I think I take my practical. Then my theory was like 90%. They're like, okay, we will let you go through. So they let me go through. And the third year was just like play. I did not even study much in my final year, because so everything was not very familiar to me. Even the language was not perfect yet, but it was familiar. So if I go for any practical to any units, they are so happy to have me as a student and stuff like that. So that was just it. So that was how I achieved my dream to become a registered nurse in a foreign country. Without, I wouldn't say without stress, but with stress. But it wasn't stress because it was actually what I want. So we talk about stress, but I think life there is stress in a different level. If you really know the dreams and the goals and what you're going to achieve at the end of the day, so those stress that are burdened becomes like walking your way through the process. So that was it for me. That was how I achieved my goals, and yeah, that's it. So that's why we are sitting down here today, I guess.
Oh my goodness. This is just amazing. This is just amazing. I admire your courage and motivation, Mrs. Gladys. When you first mentioned about the self-reflection, we've talked about this in the previous session. Like, when you see the things are not moving, there's nothing happening, there's some questions that you should ask yourself, and you made that move. You moved from the city where you were living to a little, it might look like a suburb, but that was when everything started, because you had the opportunity to start school. So I think it's just the drive and and the motivation. If it's there, then nothing should stop it. Nothing at all. And when you are in that level, believe me, you will definitely have the right people. You will see the right people. You will listen to the right people, because that drive will keep pushing you. You know the words you're waiting to hear, and when you hear them, you follow them. So anything that has to discourage you at that moment, you are able, to stay away from it. Even any form of distraction, you wouldn't even want to pay attention to it. I mean, your story is just so motivating. And when you mentioned about stress, I was just laughing here, because even me, when I want to reflect on what I have, like, through what I have been through in my own life, there are sometimes I ask myself, should I really consider this as a stress factor or not? I'll tell myself no. Maybe at that time when I was going through it, I would say, oh, this is so stressful. But now, if I look back at it, I'll say, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, for letting me go through this. Because I'm looking at it now from a different angle. If I didn't go through that, I would be where I am, doing what I am doing. And I've seen how it has benefited me today. So thank you. Thank you so much for being so precise and explanative about all this. Coach Monica, I'm sure there's loads bubbling there, so just spit it out.
Oh wow, that was an inspiring story. I could see myself a lot in Mrs. Gladys, because yeah, we all in Belgium. We all went through similar things, when it comes to achieving our goals as a nurse. Yeah, I don't even know. I have a lot I wrote down, but as I said, I'm just going to try to make it so short. You said a lot of stuff, a lot of things that are so encouraging. Meeting the right people. That lady you met was your helper, because it's so important when in each phase of our life to meet the right people. Because if you hadn't met her that very day, I don't know, it would have been another story, or it would have prolonged the journey in a way. But God knows how to position our helper at the right time. Because in my case, when I learned the language, I there was a priest then in Holland. I was telling him what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to be a nurse. I was laughing when she said in Nigeria, a drive of becoming a nurse was the cock, 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 the shoe, the sound of the shoe she heard when she's at the hospital. In my own case, my drive was the white uniform. The two most people, the two people I admire when I was growing up was the nurses and Reverend sisters. You know that their white dress. I really want to be that. You know, I see them so angelic, so adorable, and that was them. I'm like, I really want to be a nurse. And just like she said in class, then I'll take a pen and I'll tell my class, my friends, who is sick, come, let me give injection. You know, just jokingly. And funny enough, in my class, everybody wants to be doctor, engineer. I was the only one that wanted to be a nurse. Then, you know, in Nigeria, they used to look at the great nursing as quack nurse. You know, they don't really value nurses then. I don't know if I believe it has changed now.
Yeah.
But then they used to look at nurse as just, you know, but it's man, coming here to study, I know that nurse is not just, is something very difficult. It's not difficult but interesting. So you were able to stay focused. You were able to stay focused to achieve your dream. And failure, behind every success story, there are series of failure. It is those failures that give us that drive to attain success. Because she said she failed when she was in school. Me, I failed my first year. Hey, mm, my first, I didn't even get 50%. My first year, I failed all my theory, all everything, because I was still angry that I'm studying with Dutch. Though the motivation is, I am already there. I had no choice. I had the choice, but I had no choice at the same time because nursing was the only thing I wanted to study. So I was like, oh my God, I failed everything. It was enough reason for me to give up. But I never gave up. I knew my dream, just my where I'm going to, just like Sister Gladys, Mrs. Gladys, she said she knew what she wanted to become and she kept fighting. That was a good and very powerful story you have this, Mrs. Gladys. And I believe that people keep here, just keep telling your story. There's this power in telling stories. Just keep telling your stories because you never know who your story will change, will motivate to start pursuing his or her own dream. Um, I would thank you. I don't know, Coach Christy, if I can take over from there.
Yes, please.
I would want to thank every one of you that are watching. Oh wow. I want to thank Mr. Julius. He has always been our great support. He's always there supporting us. And today my husband is online as well, Mr. Ogeachu. I can see him. Thank you so much. You see, they said they used to say behind or beside. They said no more behind. Beside every successful man, there's a woman. But in this case, beside any successful woman, there are always these great men, our kings beside us, always supporting us. We appreciate you all. And all our viewers out there, we know you are there. Thank you for really watching, for following us. Thank you for always being with us, supporting us. We are really grateful. Thank you. Mrs. Gladys, I have a question. And in fact, I'm so happy having you on board because I can see myself in your story, as I said. I just wanted to ask you, because in life, it's it's not easy. At times we need one or two persons or one or two things to fall back on, or especially at that phase when we are giving up, when we feel we don't have that courage or that strength to move. In my own case, then I was like, the things that gave me this strength then when I was in this my nursing school and even up to date was my was God, my belief, my fellowship with Christ. That gave me that was the strong support I have. And I really want to ask you, in the process of achieving your goal and following your vision, your dream, pursuing your goal, who and what are the support system you had or you still have? Because I know you're a fighter, and there are things I know there are things you're still pursuing. You being a nurse, you being an entrepreneur, and working on your coaching as well. Because Coach Christy, I don't know if I told you, Mrs. Gladys she's also part of this powerful women group I'm in as well, the like-minded successful women. It's a small group, but she's doing a lot of work in there. So, Mrs. Gladys, could you please share with us who and what are your support system when you were when you as you pursuing your when you were pursuing your dream?
Oh, for me, may so rest in peace, my dad. Uh, my dad was like my biggest supporting system. I remember the first time I ride a bicycle, I called him. I said, "Oh, I fell down today." It's like, "Oh, you fell down. That's very good. It means you're gonna be a good a good rider." So he said, "If you fell down, you have to try it again. The next day you're gonna be better and better." And he was right. So I did it. Then I was able to ride my bicycle. So that was my transportation to school, to my practical, to everywhere. So at least my BMW was already ready there, standing for me. So that was one aspect. I think my dad, I remember one day I was talking to my dad, I'm like, I'm learning the language. Then my dad said, "Oh, so you are learning French now?" I said, "No, I'm learning Dutch." He said, "Yeah, but you're in Belgium. Belgium is French." I'm like, "No, they have French, they have Dutch, and then it's like, okay, it's good, keep doing it." So I remember when I told him, like, okay, I'm in nursing school, he was shocked because that was my dream. It was like, "Oh, you're doing that now?" Oh, he was so proud of me. So every time he called me, he's always called me like Saturday morning. The first call I will receive is my dad's call every Saturday. He never failed that call. Then it's like he called me to encourage me. Then I remember one day he was talking to me. I was like, "Oh, there was some financial stress going on at home." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry I could not help." I remember my dad made a statement like, "If you were to be at home this time, I will still be training you in school and you will still be under my roof." So that was a big relief for me. Like, they were not giving me responsibility. They just let me to be a child looking for a life and try to achieve our own goal. So I would say the biggest support system you could ever have is your family, because your parents is the most important thing that would ever support you. So I remembered there was somebody that is like also a mother to me. I remember the statement I got when I said, "Oh, I'm going to a nursing school now." I thought the person would be very, very happy for me, but the statement I got really choked me. I was like, "Okay." But what I did not even have any argument with that person. What I did is, I was calling you every week. Now I reduced my call to be once in a month, from once in a month to be once every 2 months, because these are people that are not encouraging you. All the news they give you is like telling you what your friends are doing and what you are not doing, telling you what they have achieved. You are not there yet. So those things really put you down as a person, because it makes you start thinking about the things you are not achieved. Yeah, you have not achieved yet. It makes you feel like a failure. You understand? So, and friends also who does not have my good intentions, who tells me like, "Oh, you are going to school, my dear. Did you came to Europe to go to school? People are making money. What are you doing? Going to school, sitting 8 hours in the class, going for your practicals, working for free. Come, we are making big money. Yeah, come and make money with me. So those kind of friends, what I do is I distracted myself from them. It's not that they are not my friends anymore, but there is the level of friendship is now different, because at that moment you don't have my interest in mind. Number one, you do not understand my dreams and aspiration and what I want. So I really respect them, because it's not their fault. So they are doing their own thing, and they believe everybody have to do their own thing. So that is the difference in being human. So we all have different dreams and aspirations. So I think, like, I do respect everybody. If you say this what you are doing, I respect it and I encourage you. You have people who think because you are not doing what they are doing, so whatever you are doing is like bullshit to them. It's like it's not, because they don't understand. It's like whatever you are doing is not important. So I think so. I do respect their opinion, but for me, I still keep pursuing my goals. So I would say I have good friends. I have friends who told me like, "Oh, I came to this country, I could not learn the language, and you are doing it. You want to stop now in your second year? No way. If there is anything you need, call me. I will give you. You cannot stop if I cannot do it and you are doing it. So I'm so proud of you." Then when you have friends like that, so they boost your moral. Like, it's really give you an encouragement. Like, it's not, they see you, they know what you are doing, so they're like, "I'm here for you, whatever you need." So, and also I would say having a lot of friends is not really important. If you have two, three friends who are really your friends, it's enough, because you don't need to have 20 friends. and they don't really know you. If you have two friends, it's okay. So I could say my support system is my parents, my sisters, my brothers. I remember my late brother always tell me like, if you have a plan A is for you to achieve your goal. Then you need to have a plan B. Then you have to have a plan C. You have to have a plan D. You know, so it teach me that like that. So what it actually means, a plan A is the real goal you really want. That is, for example, the nursing school you want to go. Then if you go through the plan A, like, okay, that is plan A is there. If you have a plan B, like this, I'm going to go through it. And financially it's not working. Switch to plan B. That plan B or plan C is still going to push you back to plan A. It doesn't mean you deviated from your plan A, but it means all those plan B, plan C, plan D is still going to bring you to plan A, back to where you want to be. You know, so I learned those tools then from him, and those are the things that really, really saved me. So now I can look back, although he's no longer with us, but I could look back and I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm so grateful I had you as a brother. Even when you are not here anymore, but at least I got that from you. So if that is the only thing you give to me, is enough, you know. So I think, yeah, those are the things that really keeps me going. Even till now, I still think about him now, like plan A, plan B, and all those stuff. So it still work for me till today. So that's just it. Those are my support systems, Sister Monica.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Thank you so, so, so much. She said a support system is a family. Family, we know, is very important. And
Yeah.
if you're from that family that are really supportive, then you should thank the Lord, because I don't think in this world is everybody that are privileged to enjoy that gift of good family being your support system. And you know, there's you were talking, and you said you had to drop few friends and few things so that you'll be able to stay focused. That's very true, because in life we do not need crowd to become who
Yeah.
we want to be. As we travel, we need to travel light. And by traveling light, you need to drop few friends. You need to drop those distracting things and those silencing voices. You need to drop them so that you can travel light in your journey. Coach Christy, I don't know what you think about that. Having what the important, having a great support system. What does it do? What do you have to say on this
Yes,
topic?
I truly agree that the support system is very important. That is what keeps us going. And when I look at support system, I also look at it from within and from without. Personally, I have always worked more on the support system from within, because for me, my strength, like you rightly said in the beginning, I draw my strength from God Himself. Because I might have a lot of people maybe supporting me or telling me, yeah, this, but if I'm not weak, if I'm not strong enough, or I'm really weak spiritually, I'm not able, to carry myself. So if I carry myself
Yeah.
first, then I'm able to add to what others are telling me to do.
Yeah.
And coming to the support system from without, yes, it is very important. We have loved ones, we have, families, like you said, we have friends, we also have the right people, the makers. I'm not talking about the breakers, but sometimes we also need the breakers, because they
Yeah.
will keep us to move faster than
Move,
what
yeah.
Yes, that's true.
they'll just only want to speed us, speed us up,
To the next
whatever we are
level.
thinking. We need those negative thoughts and comments and feedbacks as well, because it just
Yeah.
spices up everything. So
Mm.
when we are focused and our relationship with God, for me, I always say that, we are going to be like magnets that will attract, the right pairs, the right opposite side, because no matter what you will face, there's always going to be a stepping stone. You will be
Yeah.
directed in the direction that favors you. Sometimes it might be slower, sometimes it might be faster, but as long as it has been designed by God Himself, then we take it the way it is, knowing that everything is in His hands. So yes, we need them. We need them. We need them. And thank you so much, Ma'am Gladys, for sharing. There's something you mentioned in the start: uniqueness. We will meet people who look alive differently. They
Mhm.
will express themselves differently. It might
Yeah.
be based on what you say or what you do, how you act. I mean, the list is really long, but you just have to take what you can take and leave out what you can. You cannot be like someone else, as long as you know you are not affecting another person. let's say, impacting negatively, then it should be good to go. As long as it's in line with what God says you should do, then there's nothing you should worry about. But that is just being humane. We are different, and we would obviously see life differently. You also
Yeah.
talked about flexibility: plan A, plan B, plan C. You can even get to plan Z. You never
Yeah.
know. But they will always rotate. Life, as they say, you can always plan it, but it won't go that smooth. You
Mhm.
might meet, those roadblocks along the way, and that is why you have to be prepared to divert when it's time to divert. Take it easy and look for the ways where you can rover around it. So I really agree with what you all have said, and thank you so much again for sharing. Let's keep rolling.
Thank you so much, Coach Christy, for that awesome input. What you just said, it's powerful. Thank you. Um, Mrs. Gladys, I also love to ask you, as a registered nurse and as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, because I know you have your business behind the scene, and
Yes.
your process as becoming being a coach. What are some of the lessons you've learned? Because life, in every facet of life, in any phase of life, things, the challenges we go through, those barriers, there are things we learn from them. So could you please share with us what are the things you learned in this in your success journey, please?
Oh, I would say the first thing I think I learned is really, it was really, yeah, learning to know me better. I think that is the most, I would say that was the most important thing for me, When I say knowing me better, it's like this: knowing that I'm enough wherever I am, if I'm in school or I'm at work, I'm at home, with my husband, even when we are dating, like knowing that I'm enough individually in myself or as a single girl, then like I'm enough of who I am. I'm okay with myself. I'm comfortable with myself. I know what I want because I know I'm enough. So when you know you are enough, no matter where you go to, wherever you are, no matter what anybody says about you, you know who you are and you know what you want. So that really makes a difference. So it takes me time to learn that, but I did learn it and I'm really grateful. I did. And thank God for my husband as well. So when he met me, he thought, oh, this is one crazy girl like that or stuff like that. But the fact was like, I was kind of a little bit crazy, but it's just like, I know what I want, but I was really a bit more lofty about it, but maybe not presenting it in the right way. But he really teach me like, okay, you know, it's okay, you know what you want is like that, but sometimes you have to keep calm and think the way you present things. It's really important so that you don't offend somebody else. Just like being polite. So I learned that from from him. I don't know if he's watching on it. Thank you for that. So I'm really grateful for that aspect. So I think number one thing for a young woman or a girl, you really need to know yourself. When I mean know yourself is know what makes you angry. Know why you are doing something. Know what tickle you like. Why are you like sometimes if I'm angry, even in anything, I'm like, why am I angry? Or if you do something, I'm like, should I make your decision or your character, just influence my character for that day or for that minute. So those are the things. If you know yourself as a person, no matter what I do or what Sister Monica is going to do, it does not define me. It does not change my feelings. It does not change my character at that moment. I just keep on doing my thing. So that is number one. And two, no, I just know that you always have to be ready to learn. Don't think you are bigger than anything. Even if it's from a child, I have young kids. I still learn from my children. Like, it's so funny. Sometimes I just sit down looking at them like, okay. But you're learning something. Be open to learn new things. Be open to learn new languages, new skills. Try to grow beyond your comfort zone and try something new. So that would be like number two for me. And number three, I'm like, just focus on your dream, focus on yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the most important thing. So just ignore, silent all the noises behind you, in front of you, behind. I don't care who that is, but just focus on you, because when you focus on you and you work on yourself, people will notice you. and you will definitely get to your goals. You will get there. So that will just be the three things I just want to say. Focus on yourself, be open to new things, and know yourself. Just know yourself. Take the time and just know yourself. So that will be it for me.
Wow, wow, those are powerful one. Learn to know yourself better, knowing you are enough.
Yeah,
Because at times you really need those words. You need to tell yourself, I am good, I can do it, I am good enough, I can do it, I'm the
yeah,
best. Because I remember when, in your own case, your teacher told you, don't quit. In my own case, they told me I'm not good enough, that they don't even see
no,
me.
no, it's a Monica. One told me I have to stop. The other one encouraged me to say,
No one is even encouraging
don't
me.
stop.
I had to encourage myself in the Lord. David did in the Bible, he encouraged himself in the Lord. In my own case, my Dutch was this bad that the teacher said she don't see me. I can never become an ICU nurse. She said, you can never. The day I got my certificate, I remember that lady. And I felt, should I go to that school and show her this? I said, it doesn't worth it. I don't need it. I don't need to do that. So really knowing you're being focused, knowing that this is your dream, this is what you want to be, and you can do it. We don't allow anybody to tell you you cannot without giving it a trial.
Yeah,
So I love that, knowing you enough, you can do it. People's opinion, though, people have their opinions. They will always say what they want to say. They always
exactly.
say what they think, who they think you are. But you know yourself. And there was one experience I had. Then we had to evaluate ourselves. And I was to evaluate myself, and my boss just said, "Monica, just write. What do you think?" And I was just writing and writing. And when he looked at it, like, you know yourself. I said, if I know my weak, I know what I can do, what I can do. And you see, if I was trying to be who another person,
Mm.
it would have been something not right, because he saw what I wrote, and he already knew, okay, Monica, this is your weak point, and you're good in this, you're not good in that. And it's really good for us to know ourselves, to really know who who we are, and to really be focused and learn. This life will keep learning. Thank you so much. Coach Christy, I don't know if you have anything to add to this, please.
Yeah, I just want to agree with you all that it's all about self-discovery, like you said. Know your worth, what you can do. There's this analysis I call it. It has been called SWOT analysis. When you can identify your strength, your weaknesses. When you can identify all the resistances and the threats that surround you, and you try to minimize them and try to build up what is lacking and add to it, then it makes life more easier. So I really agree with what you have all said.
Thank you. At this point, I also want to thank and appreciate our viewers out there. I can see Mrs. Luma Patience, and she said something, but I don't know the question in particular. She said, "Yes, I can't agree more with you. I have been asked that question so many times. I wish I could." Yeah, a lot of questions have been said. I don't know which one she really meant particularly. If she's there, I don't know if she can help us with that question, so that to recall the question. And Mr. Julius said good vibes, and she said, Luma also said words very important. Yes, words are very, very important. Those words can encourage or discourage you, but words are very, very important. Even the ones we say to ourselves are very
Yeah,
important. Thank you so much, our viewers out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending. I know you have a lot of, it's Saturday, man. It's Saturday evening. People want to go and eat or watch movie. And like, just like my husband said, I really feel like I want to watch movie, but he has to sacrifice for me. I really want to thank you all, our viewers out there. And Luma said, she said, the question is about, why are you still going to school? Yes, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, because most people come to the Western world, and their focus is making money. And at times when you tell people you're going to school, or you've been working and you want to go back to school, they see it as waste of time. Like, why now? You should be pursuing money. But it's not all about money. Life is not about money. Life is not all about money. But there are other things that you can do that would even give you bigger money than the one you're doing. So thank you so much, our viewers. I also have a question for Mrs. Gladys. And it says, what are the advice? you've gone through a lot, and being an entrepreneur, being a nurse, you've encountered a lot of people, and there are a lot of people you're still going to encounter out there. And I believe there are people that are still going to visit this video, that are still going to come back and watch this video, those that are not chance to follow us live. What are the advice you would give to those struggling to deal with these distracting voices? Because there are two things: there are voices within, and there are voices with outside, coming from other people. What are these advice could you give to people struggling? Could you please give us one or few tips you can tell those people out there to encourage them? The tips, how did you handle yours? What are those advice you could give to those people struggling with these distracting voices, for in order for them to be focused?
Yeah, I would say this. You just said it. Oh, there are two kind of voices. You said number one, voices from outside. Those are your friends, family, relatives, stuff like that. So if your voice is coming from around you, outside, not within you. So I would say for me, I would not say cut off your friendship with your friends, but try and limit, try to gather the ones that are really supporting you, break them closer. The ones that are discouraging you is also very good because they are tempting you to even achieve more. Those are friends who are saying, okay, I will see how long she can keep it. 4 years of the course. I will see how long she can keep it. Because those people are watching you. It also motivates you. It's kind of strange. It's a negative energy, but it is. It motivates you to also go, to also to be the best you want to be. So in two ways, I would say you need people who are encouraging you positively. Draw those ones closer to you, the closest. The ones that are giving you negative, yeah, energy, negative words. Also, don't just ignore them. Put them there because they are also building you to become something bigger. Maybe you will not realize it now, but you're gonna say, because you said I cannot do it, I'm going to prove you wrong. So you need those people. Those people can also encourage you. They are also an encouragement. So we need to keep them. We put them there. We don't just ignore them. They are there, but don't let them come to you. So that is where we come to the inner voice. The inner voice is you as a person. I mean, before you start anything, you know you can do it. You know it's what you want. So if you have whatever you do, you are a Christian, you go to church, you've prayed about it, you know you can do it, and you have your source of energy, that inner energy. That sometimes I tell people, I say, try to do something like do meditation, listen to kind of something to calm you down. Just take time for yourself, to be you. Just take time, relax. Even if I do it at my work sometimes when it's so stressful. Like I remember I was in a COVID unit, in a geriatric COVID unit. That was during the COVID. The house, it was so stressful that I have to go to the bathroom to take 2 minutes for myself. Like, take a deep breath. I will take a deep breath, just close my eyes, just imagine like you can do this. You can handle this. So that is what we need. We really need that inner time, that moment. I don't know if some people have watched the War Room. So it's a way people pray and communicate. It's also a way of listening to your inner man and also giving yourself positive innerly, just to get that kind of connection, like to boost your energy. You need it because even when I tell you can do it, and you are not getting that kind of extraordinary power within you, you cannot do it. So you still need it. And if you are here and you said, oh, I'm stressed out, I don't know what to do, I would say practice the breathing technique. It does help. If you don't know how to do it, go on YouTube. There are videos about it. You just have to take 1 minute, take a deep breath with your nose. You take a deep breath in, then you have to seize it for maybe 1 minute or 30 seconds. Just put it in, feel it in your brain, feeling the oxygen going through your brain. Then you just try and release it through your nose. It makes it different. So feel it in your brain, feeling the oxygen going through your brain. So if you can do that, that will also help you in a very long way. So that's just Sister Monica. So the outside voice, the positive one, bring them close. Even the negative one, know where they stand in your life, but also they are also encouraging you. They
Yeah.
are taking you to your destination without you not knowing it, unknowingly, but they are really, really taking you to that goal. So that's it. That's just the only advice I have for them.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Gladys. Mrs. Gladys, thank you so much. She said that we should know how to remove those external voices and the inner voice, develop it, try to be calm, try to breathe. That breathing technique, I used to do it when I want to minister, when I want to sing. I, I'm just like, I try to breathe in and, it will calm me down because you're going to stand in front of the people. I,
Exactly.
I do them sometimes, not all the time, but it really helps a lot. Thank you so much for this question, Coach Christy. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the time, like how time flies. It's already 1 hour, and that's our maximum.
Yeah.
But we are not going to stop without appreciating those who have spent time with us. Thank you so much for the comments and
Mm.
your opinions, additions, and questions. And Mr. Noso Nathaniel, thank you so much for being here. He says, "Right on, Sister Gladys, love you." And
Thank
Luma
you.
Patience, Luma Patience, words very important. Thank you so much, Big says. Mercy Brown says, "If no one is encouraging you, just encourage yourself and keep going." Exactly the point. You are worth it and you can do it. And Luma Patience is just wanting to make it clearer that when Gladys was saying people are asking her to follow them and make money, that's where her comment came in. The question is about why are you still going to school? So should you follow the people to make money and you go to school you have no money? It's a very tempting scenario. You want a cash, you want a fast cash, or you want to go to school first and you think about how to get the money. It's your decision to take, but remember that your target, your goals, those are some little distractions that you can face. Sometimes it might be maybe about also your personal life. Sometimes you might be short of money and you're thinking, okay, maybe I just have to keep this for now and go back to my work life to get what I need before I move ahead. But thank you so much, Dr. Deborah Fumi Papa. I noticed you were here for a while, and Father Leo, thank you so much for being part of it, and Mrs. Queen Aline, thank you so much as well. Mrs. Gladys, you won't go without letting us to know how we can contact you, through which media, or just tell us a little bit more what you do and where we can find you if need be.
Oh, I would say, actually, I'm a registered nurse. That is what I do professionally. But also, I'm also a coach. I coach some women, my friends, some of my good friends. What we do is I coach them about the cryptocurrency because it's my hobby now. So I'm really interested in finance, like how do people control the world financially, or just making one comment on Twitter and the market or the stock market will change. So those are the things that I'm really into for the moment. You can find me on Instagram, CryptoNosG, CryptoNosG. G is for Gladys. You can also follow me or subscribe to my YouTube channel, CryptoNosG on YouTube. You can follow me on my Facebook page. It's Gladys Yobosa Anyiboma, the name you are seeing on your screen. So when you type that name, I'm the only one who is answering that name on Facebook. So you would see my Facebook page and you can also follow me. I think my telephone number, I will put that on my Facebook page, I think very soon. So you can contact me if you need any advice about cryptocurrency, or you're interested in to learn how to buy shares, how to buy cryptocurrency, stuff like that, you can always contact me. So that's where you can find me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being that specific, and we appreciate you once again for accepting the invitation to be on our platform. And definitely wouldn't end by appreciating Dalen Spees again for joining and leaving a very burst comment, focusing on things that add values in our lives. On any domain of concern will kill every discouraging factor and barriers. And she says, "Sorry, I joined you guys late, just contributing." Thank you so much. It's a very important contribution. It's true. Value the things that will add more to your life, more,
Mm,
and stay away from the distractions. That's the point to take home here. We are all equipped to survive in the different environments we find
mm,
ourselves in, and we are good. Despite what we face, we always know that there is a way to go about things that happen, situations that happen in our life. And We want to thank all our viewers for always being there for us. We want to thank you for your participation and all the support. We appreciate you all so much, and we are here to grow and keep letting all the opinions, comments, and if you just have a statement to say one or two, if you have a topic that you would also love that we talk about it, please don't hesitate to air it out. And before we end, I would like to give a word of prayer to us all who have been here. It's we are being told as children of God that we started by prayer and we end by prayers. So, merciful Father, we give you all the glory, the honor, the praise. We thank you, Lord, for this possibility. We thank you for your guidance and protection. We thank you, Lord, for this platform, Lord, that you have provided. We thank you most especially for your word in our lives. Father, we beg and pray, Lord, that your spirit should never depart from us, that whatever we have discussed here, O good God, let it be able, Lord, to educate others and everyone in particular that listens to it, let it be able to impact on them in one way or another. Father, Lord, as we are different, so as our heart desires, Lord, continue to meet us in our different points of needs. Father, we know the times are hard, but we know that with you all things are possible. We beg and pray that, Lord, as we go out to continue with our daily activities, your spirit should never depart from us. Be at the forefront, O good God. Protect us, guide us, direct us in your path, O good God. For you said we shall trample upon lions and snakes, but they shall do us no harm. Father, we shield ourselves and cover ourselves with the precious blood of Jesus, O good God.
Amen.
Father, be at the forefront. Continue to fight our battles for us. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. So
Amen.
thank you everyone again for being
Thank
here. And
you.
Thank you very
next
much.
next month we're going to have another special guest, and we are going to put out the flyers. It's a secret, but it's going to be very interesting as well. Thank you so much for being there. God bless you so much. Ciao for now.
Thank you.
Bye, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.